Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to just get right into it. I'm in the middle of having the AC off so that you can hear me. And construction is being done in the front of the house. So that's in an intermission at the moment. So we're just going to try to churn our way through this as quickly as we can. And today we're going to talk about this record store day item that just dropped on July 17th. I'm sure a lot of you probably have it. There wasn't much on the list this year that I wanted, but this was definitely one of them. I'm a huge Sisters of Mercy fan, and you know, we've been waiting 30 years, I think, almost for a new album. So maybe this will fulfill the commitment to Warner Brothers. No, doesn't look like it. I don't know, but good Lord, we need a new album. So let me open this up and we'll talk to you on the other side. Okay, so I'm just going to touch on a few things really quick, maybe not so quick. First, anybody that doesn't know what Record Store Day is, it's a simple Google search, but it's an annual event that has sort of like been skewed because of the pandemic for the last couple of years. But it's an annual event in which independent labels and major labels put out special releases for collectors. They're usually, you know, on a colored vinyl or a picture disc, or there's something exclusive about them that would draw the collector's attention. They're usually priced accordingly. They're available in limited quantities. And then there's also things such as regional releases that only certain areas of the country or certain countries will get. And as the Record Store Day kind of blew up a few years ago, we started seeing like specific. There was like a UK Record Store Day. It all happened on the same day, but there would be exclusive releases for the UK that the US didn't get. One of those, for instance, that I still don't have in my collection was a Jesus and Mary chain live at Barrowlands on like a red vinyl. That was something I desperately wanted, but that was only a UK release, and it wasn't released over here. And it immediately was like crazy pricey. Another item that for Record Store Day that was increasingly popular and went up in value very quickly that I don't have in my collection was the Crow soundtrack. It was the first time it was pressed on vinyl. And it was, I had something going on and I wasn't able to attend Record Store Day, so I didn't get it. And I thought, well, you know, there was so many copies, I was like, I'll just pick this up after the fact. That wasn't going to be the case. It was immediately, you know, it probably retailed for $30 or $40 and like instantly was $100 and rarely has gone down below that. So again, this is what we're talking about. And you can see the Record Store Day sticker. This year there were 2 drops for Record Store Day. Last year there was 3. This year there was 2, and this one was the most recent one, July 17th. The other one happened, I think it was in June. It may have been in May, but I think it was in June. And I don't have anything from that one either. It just, the circumstances for this year, you know, being unemployed, I have to be really selective about what I'm going to buy. But I really couldn't pass up this one, so I needed to have it. So this, you know, is the Sisters of Mercy, and it's the BBC sessions from 1982 to 1984. So let me talk a little bit about what that means. So for people a little bit younger who may not know what the BBC is or the BBC sessions, BBC is the main broadcaster in the UK. Over the years, it's expanded. They have BBC 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I think they have other channels as well. They also have radio programs, and BBC Radio 1 was the main radio channel for the UK, and they would play mainstream music, and they had some weird regulations I don't fully understand, just like I didn't understand like how people living in the UK had to pay for television, like broadcast, just regular broadcast television. They had to pay for a license to get TV. With the radio, they were only allowed to broadcast pre-recorded music for so many hours in the day. And to fill the gap, instead of going off air, to fill the gap, what they would do is they would bring in live musicians, usually like orchestras or a local band, to play live music in studio, and that sort of like circumvented the rules of what the radio could do. So John Peel in the late 60s, he began exploring his love of underground music and bringing on local acts like Led Zeppelin, for instance, to record a live session in studio. And thankfully, like, I think the bulk of those recordings over the years have been preserved. Now, John started the Peel sessions, specifically the Peel sessions, in 1975, and they ran until his death in 2004. When you hear BBC sessions, they're often confused with Peel sessions. BBC Sessions refers to another program as well called David Jensen. I think it was David Jensen Hour or Show. And he also had live studio recordings of famous artists. So when you hear BBC radio sessions, it just doesn't refer to John Peel. It also refers to the David Jensen Show as well. So that's, and that's why I'm bringing this up, because on this vinyl, we have both John Peel sessions, 2 of those, and then sandwiched in between those is a David Jensen show. So I just want to make that clear, what the difference is, because people hear BBC radio sessions, they immediately assume it's the John Peel show. And I'm bringing this up also because we're going to talk about a little bit in the 90s, bands were releasing their BBC sessions or their Peel sessions as bonus tracks. In the mid-80s, John Peel co-founded a label called Strange Fruit Records, and they were responsible for releasing many of the BBC sessions or Peel sessions, I'm sorry, that he had recorded over the years. Specifically Peel sessions, not BBC sessions. And I remember seeing these because I started collecting vinyl I started collecting vinyl in the 80s, and these started coming out, I think, in 87, and I think the first one was New Order. What was very attractive about these, especially if you were into UK bands or underground music at the time, or alternative music, it really wasn't called that yet, it was more like college rock in the States, is really what it was dubbed. These were very affordable because they were released as EPs, and they gave you recordings that you hadn't heard before, and John Peel always loved if his guest artists did a cover song. So you usually got this really fantastic cover song by the band, and there's usually 4 to 5 tracks on each one of these. I remember seeing them for Sisters in Mercy. I remember a Joy Division. I remember the New Order. There were several artists that I didn't collect at the time. But they all look like, I'm going to show you what they look like. They all look like this. They had the gray cover and the list of artists that had performed on the Peel sessions. And then the back cover usually looked like this. So the Susie and the Banshees actually had, I think, 2 releases, and I'm not sure which one I have. I didn't realize there were 2 until I was looking at the list. I am going to provide a list in the description of all of the shows that have been cataloged. I don't know if they've all been recorded. I know they've all been cataloged. But for instance, this one has from Susie, Love and a Void, Mirage, Metal Postcard, and Suburban Relapse. So no covers on this one. So this one was recorded November 1977 and transmitted on the 5th of December 1977. So that's really cool. There were so many of them. I'll include the list of all these that were released at the time. And the label ran, I think it ran for a few years, and I think it maybe sort of stopped when vinyl stopped being pressed. And I think these were only maybe released on vinyl and cassette. I don't think I ever saw CD versions of these. They may exist now, but I don't remember them being pressed to CD. Somebody in the comments can correct me if I'm wrong. But I love these because you could pick these up. Like if a album, usually albums cost $9.99. These EPs were usually $6.98 or $7.98. Usually $6.98. And again, it was like, wow, there's some new music. It's live in studio. It's not live in an auditorium or whatever where there's a lot of like crowd noise. This is live in studio. Really just fun. And I didn't realize that's what it was until I played this. Like, I didn't know what the Peel sessions were. I had no idea. This was my introduction to that. And then I started seeing others, and I realized that this was a show in the UK. And then obviously when the internet came along, I was able to piece it all together. After the 80s, when these stopped appearing, the Peel sessions or BBC sessions, one or both, those became very appealing to labels in the U.S. as well as artists in the U.S. because it provided an opportunity to release extra tracks on singles. And in the 90s, the maxi CD single was a craze that probably made a lot of money for labels. These slim case CD singles, usually 3 or 4 tracks, you'd usually get 3 or 4 of those per album, were released in European markets. They were sold in the US as imports. You could pay, $8, $9 for a CD single with 2 or 3 tracks. The point being that bands didn't often have to provide like a B-side or an unreleased track from the recording sessions or an outtake. If they did the BBC sessions, they could include those tracks on the single and provide something new for the fan and, fill out like the expectation of having a 3 or 4 track single for the label. So became very lucrative. And when I tell you it was a market, it was every major label artist had European CD singles, maxi singles available. And that's when labels were making hand over fist with money. Unfortunately, John Peel died in 2004. He was still kind of young. He was in his 60s. And with that, the show stopped. And David Jensen had already left the BBC at that point. He left shortly after. I think he started in 1981 and he left in 84. I'm not sure if anyone else is still doing BBC sessions. I'm not really collecting the music or artists that would be showing up on those BBC sessions probably. Maybe somebody in the UK can shed light on that for me. Over 4,000 sessions and over 2,000 artists recorded. There's an endless catalog that they could delve into to release music forever. So with that said, let's get into this release, which again is a BBC session. So it includes 2 John Peel shows and 1 David Jensen show. 3 radio sessions, 12 previously unreleased on LP, and then it's on a smoky 180 gram vinyl. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to have all of these on one record. It makes me extremely happy. I've had the MP3s from the BBC sessions for a long time. Some of these tracks I have on like B-sides, but to have all of it in one place and on vinyl is very exciting. So let's bust into it. So it is not a textured cover, even though it looks like it. The snake skin. It's got the classic Sisters of Mercy logo. This is their Merciful Records logo. Backside made in Germany. And then licensed from the BBC. 2021 Warner Music Company. I am curious if this will fulfill the contract for Warner's, if that hasn't already been fulfilled by now. For people who don't know, Andrew Eldritch stopped releasing music. He kept touring, but he stopped releasing recorded music, studio tracks, after Vision Thing. And the reason for that was he wanted out of his contract with Warner Brothers. Similar to Prince. Prince had a little bit more power fighting that fight than Andrew Eldritch does. But sadly, we just have not had any new music. Well, it's not true. Andrew Eldritch has recorded or performed new tracks live, but we do not have any new studio recordings since Vision Thing, unfortunately. And I hope that one day he'll go back in the studio. That would be wonderful, but it hasn't happened yet. And I think it all surrounds his fight with the label. They were on Elektra Records, which doesn't even exist anymore, I don't think. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. It's owned by Warner. So, again, yeah, he's fighting the same fight Prince did. It took Prince years to get out of his fight with Warner, and there was some concessions made. Andrew Eldritch just, I don't know. He hasn't made those concessions. So there's no new vinyl to be had or no new music to be had, sadly. Such an incredible artist. The other thing about Sisters of Mercy that a lot of people will debate is, are they goth rock? Andrew Eldritch really does not like that term. I don't know of many goth rock artists that do like being told that they're goth rock. Mostly because it's pigeonholing. And it was something that was thrust upon them from the get-go, and it was all because of their image. And they created a genre all of its own, really. There were so many copycats and other bands that were doing what they did. Fields of Nephilim is a big one. Like, you know, you have that cowboy hat, dark glasses, all black image. And I'm not belittling Fields of Nephilim. I'm just saying that there was a lot of artists that emerged, and I really think you could draw a parallel or a direct line to the Sisters of Mercy for creating that sound, and it sort of become its own genre. And I don't know if you want to call it goth rock. Andrew Eldritch always said they were a rock and roll band. And they try to emphasize that with the cover songs that they would play, like Jolene, for instance, or Knocking on Heaven's Door. They did a Stooges cover. So, like, they really tried to push, like, the narrative that they weren't just a gothic rock band, or they weren't a gothic rock band to begin with. And I think if you listen to Vision Thing, it doesn't sound like a gothic rock album. It sounds like a rock album, to their credit. And it's a good album. So back to this one, BBC Sessions. So we have two vinyls in plain black plastic. Let's see, are they anti-static? They are anti-static sleeves, which I appreciate. Picture sleeves would have been nice, or a gatefold. This is not a gatefold, but you have two vinyls in there. Let me just make sure there's nothing else in here. The inside is black, which I like. My little goth heart loves that. And then we have beautiful smoky vinyl. It's really pretty. This was, I'm not one that gives in to just colored vinyl releases, but when I think of the Sisters of Mercy, I think of smoke. And if you've seen the Sisters of Mercy since the recording or the release of Vision Thing, like if you've seen them in the last, let's say, 15, 20 years, you understand what I mean. I saw Sisters of Mercy in Florida. I saw Sisters of Mercy in Florida. I went to the show. There was so much smoke that I don't know if I if I saw the band at all. They could have just been pre-recorded music for all I know, because there was so much smoke that I never saw the stage like in its entirety. I remember somebody standing at a microphone. Could have been Andrew Eldritch. It could have been anybody. Honestly, there was so much smoke. And from pictures I've seen, that was pretty typical of their shows. So I'm looking at the dead wax, and I'm not seeing anything at all. I'm not seeing any production numbers. It could just be the lighting that I have right now. Let me check this other one. So on one side we have song titles, and then on the other side we have the Merciful logo. Nice touch. I like that. This is the other vinyl. Another beautiful smoky vinyl. Oh, there are some numbers. I see production numbers on this one. I don't think it says anything cool. There's production numbers on two sides of the little center label. If there's anything there, I'll look at it with a magnifying glass. If there's anything there, I'll put it in the comments. Yeah, I see call numbers on this side too. So this one, we have songs on both sides. So is this last one one-sided? Let me see. Oh yeah, I think this is a three-sided record. I don't think there's anything on this side of the record with the Merciful Release logo. No, I don't see any grooves. So we got a three-sided record, not four-sided. That's cool. You know, there's only so much you can put on. They only had 3 sessions, so so that's the look of it. We're gonna put it on the turntable, and then I'm gonna give you my thoughts about it, and then we'll close. All right, I'll be right back. All right, so here we go. Welcome back to Heatstroke Central, my office. Oh, we should probably turn on stereo so we can hear it. Where is that button? There we go. Little popping. I didn't clean these. Okay, so I thought that sounded pretty good. I don't know how it sounded through the microphone. I don't have the greatest setup in my office. Just a couple of bookshelf speakers. But it sounded, I think it sounded better than actually the MP3s I have of the show. So there must have been some work done on these post-production work done. So I was quite impressed. I'm really excited to have this. I will say this, much like the Crow soundtrack has done, I feel like this is an item that, even though there's 4,000 copies, that was the limited nature of it. I think it was relatively the same for the Crow soundtrack. I think it was like 3,000 or 4,000 copies, and I had no worries about getting it. And I was proven stupid for making that choice. I feel like this is kind of heading on that same avenue. I bought one the day of. I paid $30 for it. I bought another copy just to have, keep sealed, and I had to pay $50 for it. And that's what I'm seeing on eBay is when these are coming up, they're going for like $50. So I feel like these are going to be sort of untouchable pretty soon. Maybe. I know I'm not making any promises. I just feel like this is something that's everybody wants. Everybody has fond memories of Sisters of Mercy from the 80s. There's a lot of Sisters of Mercy fans. New to the goth scene. Obviously, they're aware who Sisters of Mercy are. They're icons. So, I mean, they're the godfathers of goth rock or something like that. I don't know. So, they're going to want this. It's very collectible. It's beautiful. I wish there would have been picture sleeves instead of just the black sleeves, but at least they're black, inner black jacket, and they're anti-static sleeves. I appreciate that. The vinyl sounds good. I didn't clean it. I should have, but I just didn't. It's just sort of hurry up and shoot a video moment. So I love the smoky vinyl. I think that's perfect selection choice for Sisters of Mercy. So I'm really happy to have this. And I would say, you can pick this one up right now for about $50. If you're on the fence about whether or not it's worth it, I think it's worth it. Once it gets to like $75, I don't know. I mean, you're still only getting 3 sides. You're getting, I think, a total of 12 tracks. So, yeah. I don't know. You do the math. How much are you willing to pay per song? Again, the MP3s have been out there for years. You can find those. The songs aren't hard to get. Have them on vinyl, something collectible. First time all of them are on vinyl together, I believe, except maybe through bootlegs. They probably have been bootlegs. Let me just mention that too. There's one band who I think probably has more bootlegs than any other band I've ever known, and it's the Sisters of Mercy. I'm going to tell a quick story. When I first started collecting vinyl, there was a store, when I got to Florida, there was a store out in West Central Florida called Rock Island, and they specialized in imports. And when I went to the Sisters of Mercy section, it was literally a whole bin. Like, it was 3 feet of just Sisters of Mercy. They have 3 albums. 3 albums, probably 7 or 8 singles, maybe, before the 3 albums started. Like, that was all the Sisters of Mercy did prior to 1983, was they released singles and EPs. So, this bin didn't even have any of the studio albums. It was all bootlegs. And there was a label I remember called Blind Pig. They probably had 25 different Sisters of Mercy show. Each one of the vinyls was like 40 or 50 bucks. And I didn't buy any of them. I couldn't afford them. Like, they were ridiculously priced. But there are so many Sisters of Mercy bootlegs. And I don't understand it, because Sisters of Mercy have never been a band that's translated well live. At least none of the shows I've ever heard or been to. They're good, but any of the bootlegs I've ever heard of Sisters of Mercy, I have a couple CD bootlegs, they're not great. They don't capture the nuances that Sisters of Mercy are in the studio. And, you know, when a member of your band is a computer called Dr. Avalanche, you have to expect that. And I did expect that. And I didn't expect perfection. It just, live, I don't know. Like, I've never seen the Wake video. I know there's an official video that they did called The Wake. I think it's called Wake. That's supposed to be really good. I've never seen it. I would love to see it, but I don't know how good that is. It was officially released, so I have to assume it's really well done. But anything I've ever seen or listened to has been A-B at best. So having this is, you know, this is A++, and I'm excited to have it. So I don't know what tangent I was on there, but like they're the most bootleg band in the world, if you ask me. And that's my opinion. So the 1982 session that's on here, these songs would have been culled from the Alice 12-inch. Again, this is before they have a full-length release. And the song that's on here, Good Things, is sort of like a track that didn't exist on anything else. None of the, well, let me clarify that. None of these are all live in studio, so none of these existed on anything else. But those 3 tracks were released on, a studio version of those tracks was released on the Alice 12-inch. Good Things was a new song. With the David Jensen show, most of these tracks are from the Reptile House EP and the Temple of Love single, with Jolene being the exception. That was a new track, which is obviously a Dolly Parton cover. And then down here, 1984, we finally had First and Last and Always released, their first full-length studio album. So 2 of these tracks are from there. The other track is from the Walkaway 7-inch, and then the extra track here is Emma, which is a beautiful, I love this song. And you're getting into the era of Sisters of Mercy that everyone really associates with goth rock and their dark, gloomy cowboy, rebel image. I don't know. So it's probably, I mean, the musicians that are on here, we have Gary Marks, Craig Adams, Ben Gunn, Dr. Avalanche. And then finally, when we get down into the last session, we have Wayne Hussey. Superb, like excellent musicians. Just it's great material, and I love this era of Sisters of Mercy. I love all of Sisters of Mercy, but I really especially love the early era. So pick this up. I think you can still get it for around anywhere from 30 to 50. Go for it. Maybe cheaper. Once it starts getting above that, you know, maybe question: do you need to have it on vinyl? Or are you okay with digital or the CD versions that you have, or the bootlegs? So I've never heard the bootlegs sessions, versions of these BBC sessions. They may be as good. I don't know. I've never heard them. So make that assessment for yourself. I do think this is going to go up in value. I don't think it's ever going to go down below what I bought it at. So there's that. You can look at it as an investment. So with that said, I think it's worthwhile. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll be back soon with another one, and I'm going to turn the AC on now. Good luck to you all. Take care of yourselves. Oh, and please get vaccinated if you're not, and if you choose not to get a vaccination, that's your choice, but please wear a mask out of respect for other people. And understand that a business that you go to and solicit is private property. It's not a public area. Even though the public is welcome there, they're invited there to buy the items in the shop. That is still private property. And if an owner says that they want their patrons to mask, that's their choice. You don't get to make that choice for them. They're not public property. That is their private property. And if they want their patrons to be masked, then their patrons have to be masked. That's the way it is. That's not a freedom violation or a constitutional right violation. So please respect your small business owners, especially your record store, your small business record store owners who are, you know, struggling to make this work. and respect them and their patrons, and wear a mask if you're not vaccinated, or if your city guidelines are requesting it. Because like right here in New Orleans, even though I'm vaccinated, they are requesting that everyone wear a mask regardless of vaccinated or not. So that's the way it is right now in New Orleans. Because of the Delta variant, things are out of control. As bad as they were Mardi Gras last year. So it's bad. It's really, really bad, especially in the South. So anyway, I just want to throw that out there. I'm sure most of my viewers understand that. So anyway, hope everyone takes care, and I'll talk to you soon with the next record. Bye.